Raw review for the December 9th episode of Raw. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh?
Monday Night Raw from Wichita, Kansas. We talked to ourselves about 3 hours away, and we said, you know what, we might go to this one. And after watching it, I'm glad we did not go.
Yeah, it wasn't a banger. We'll put it that way. It was a banger on our live stream. Thank you all. We do watch alongs now. I want to make sure everybody knows that. Twitch.com/CODWrestlePod. It's a fun time. Raw, SmackDowns, PLEs. Come do it. Let's get into Raw, though. We did start out. New Day was in the back. New Day, after turning last week on Big E, and no one would dap him up. No one was giving him high fives. Everybody was giving him a bad look. And we were like, oh, people don't like the New Day anymore. And then Gunther made his way out to the ring. And Gunther came out and he said, Finn has made a grave mistake. He now has my attention, which he does not want. At Saturday night's main event, boom, Judgment Day's music hits. And Finn comes out with all of them. And Finn says, I deserve this title match. I'm the only reason that you have that title in the first place. You wanted to give a title match to someone who's undeserving like Dom. And I was like, okay, bro. Watch your tone.
And Dom has this look on his face like, it's that 50 Cent.
Why you say at me for?
Yeah.
Dom did not like that, but he goes, I'm the reason you're the champ, obviously, and at Saturday night's main event, you will leave without the belt. And Gunther says, do not try to take claim as being the reason why I have the belt. 8 years ago, you were champ, and I looked up to you, but my respect has faded because you started cutting corners and taking shortcuts. You hang out with weirdos. You played second fiddle to Damian Priest. I look down on you now. You were the best for one night. His historic one night, everybody knows about Finn Balor's one night championship run. He goes, I'm the best now, and for all the days to come, you are not on my level. You never will be. And when he said that, Judgment Day was done. They start surrounding the ring, and it's 4-on-1 until Damian Priest music hits. No shoulder or anything.
He's fine.
Supposed to be hurt, but he must have put some oil on that thing. I don't know. But he rubbed it out. Damian's here. He takes out Carlito. He takes out JD. He takes out Dom. He starts throwing him against the barricade. Finn walks out there. He high boots Finn. They start fighting. Eventually, Damian throws Finn Balor into the ring. And when he throws Finn Balor into the ring, Gunther gives him a good old chop. And then Damian gives him a big old kick. And you're like, oh, Gunther and Damian here. Nope, Gunther walks up and gives Damian a good old hit. And he starts beating the hell out of Damian. Throws Damian to the outside of the ring. He's kind of clearing off the announce table. Or it looks like Gunther wants to powerbomb him through the announce table. But Finn Balor walks over and gives a sling blade to Gunther. Mm-hmm. And then goes after Damian. So all hell's breaking loose here. Eventually, we get an apron Finn throws Damian to the ring, and then he hops up on the apron and does a coup de grace to Gunther on the outside, while Judgment Day starts to attack Damian Priest inside the ring. Yep. And so Gunther is now kind of out. And then when Judgment Day is beating up on Damian, I think Damian does have a little bit of a comeback, but Finn Balor is able to come in there and even the odds back up. And he hits like 3 coup de grace onto Damian Priest and holds up that title. He's got his tag title in one hand, his world title in the other hand. And right after this happens, they're backstage and Adam Pearce says it. Adam Pearce has now made this match a triple threat match. It will be Finn Balor taking on Damian Priest, taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. I thought this was a pretty strong opening segment. I like the idea of the triple threat. I'll pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this right off the bat. For this being an opening segment, I thought to myself, go home to Saturday night's main event for Raw. This is going to be good. This first little segment gave me a lot of hope. I said, here we go. This is the Raw we're getting. We're in for a treat tonight. We started off high, and then it just kind of went down. But in terms of this match, making it a triple threat, I'm not a big triple threat guy. I keep saying that, but WWE loves their triple threats. I'm just going to have to get used to it, Storyline, it makes sense. You've kind of weaved these guys all in and out for some time now. You've got Finn kind of sitting there thinking that, he deserves this and, he's better than Gunther. But Gunther, I thought it was really, I guess to me, it kind of hit me at this point. Like, he's like 8 years ago, like, I wasn't even like he wasn't even like on the like you think about 8 years ago and you're like, golly, that was a long time ago here. You have Priest coming out. It's kind of telling to me, or I guess talks about how it's been booked for a while. Like Gunther can't seem to fight off the 4 members of Judgment Day, but right away Damian Priest just bam, so we'll see how that goes.
I think this all makes a lot of sense. You have Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who obviously have a bunch of animosity toward each other, and Finn Balor literally just screwed Damian out of the championship. He's not just going to walk away from it. We were all under the impression that he was hurt, and that's why this match was going to be a one-on-one, and that was kind of just erased today during when Damian Priest came out, so that's a little fishy, I guess, but this is going to be a great match, and the triple threat immediately makes you think like, oh, it could happen, right? Somebody, it's always that idea of like Gunther doesn't have to be pinned here, and Damian Priest has a big backing, and then you also have Finn Balor, who could drop the tag title next week but be champion, So it's just, it just gives you a lot of options here. It's fun.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of options. Also, triple threats, no DQ, so Judgment Day run in at some point, some way, somehow. I assume that they will make an appearance. Definitely plant seeds in your heads because, admittedly, when it was just Gunther versus Finn, I was like, well, Gunther's going to win this match, hands down. I don't want to say easily, but there was no way in my mind I could see Finn taking that from him. But now you do have that added element, and with how strong Priest has been, maybe Priest can do the damage to Gunther. We've seen that before. We've seen Priest basically have the win over Gunther if it's not for Finn, So there's a lot up in the air now. Now I have to sit here and actually think about it and try to okay, now I don't know where they're going, which is always a plus.
Totally agree. Adam Pearce also says that Judgment Day will be defending their tag titles next week against War Raiders again. Mm-hmm. So that will also be something to look forward to. But we're 20 minutes into the show and Final Testament's making their way out to the ring. And we're like, oh, we're getting the Wyatt 6 match now. Oh, okay. Let's do it, I guess. Woo. And Wyatt 6, they obviously make their entrance, and they do the thing where they walk slowly, and then the lights turn on, and Uncle Howdy kind of tells them all to go and attack. So they all sprint to the ring, and they attack right away. And it's not a tornado tag match, but they start the match kind of with all hell breaking loose, and they beat up all of Final Testament, and they actually have Karrion Kross and the sister Abigail ready to go before the Miz pulls them out on the outside of the ring. And then we go directly into a commercial break. Like a minute into this Wyatt 6 match when Wyatt 6 hasn't been on TV in months, commercial break.
Probably not even a minute, in all honesty.
Damn.
Probably not even a minute.
Yeah. So we get back from commercial break, and AOP is destroying Gacy. They're going absolutely crazy on him, but Gacy would eventually get a hot tag to Rowan, and when he gets a hot tag, he starts going off. He throws AOP to the outside of the ring, and he has a baseball sliding drop kick to the outside. He's really cooking here. Until the Miz kind of gets back in the ring, and then the Miz gets his moment because he also got to make sure that we know that the Miz is still on this team. He needs to still look relevant here. Eventually, all hell would break loose once again, where the ref had absolutely no control. This is a Wyatt 6 match and an AOP match. A lot of people here, and Gacy would do a suicide dive to AOP on the outside, and then Loomis would get on the top rope and do a top rope cannonball.
Yeah, like a trust fall backwards
cannonball takes out everybody, while Uncle Howdy is now being tagged into the ring. And he's working on the Miz now. He has a corkscrew DDT on him. He's kind of going off until Scarlett grabs his foot while he's attacking. He turns around. He's like, why the hell are you doing that to me? And because Scarlett obviously was attacked 2 weeks ago by the Wyatt 6. And Scarlett's laughing. She's sitting on the announce table until all of a sudden she turns around. Nikki Cross is there looking like a crazy witch that she is. And Scarlett's like, nope, not staying around here for that. She takes off. She runs, but Nikki Cross obviously follows her. She jumps off. She has a Dez press off the stairs to Scarlett, and she starts beating him up. But we're then get back in the ring. Karrion Kross and Howdy are working on each other. And Howdy would go for her sister Abigail on Karrion Kross. And when that happens, Miz would break it up. He wouldn't allow it to happen. And Howdy would kind of catch Miz, who's now on the outside of the ring. He'd catch him through the ropes and give him mandible claw to the Miz. Through the ropes, when all of a sudden, smoke or some powder. Powder. It's almost like a fire extinguisher kind of, but not a fire extinguisher. Right into Howdy's face. It's Paul Ellering. He's back.
We would take with that mask and not get as blinded, maybe.
Yeah,
but it didn't matter.
He throws powder into Howdy's face. Howdy falls back. Karrion Kross hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3 pins Uncle Howdy in the first match that Wyatt 6 has been in months. And that was it. There wasn't any post-match shenanigans. Paul Hellring's back. AOP, Final Testament, they get a win over the Wyatt 6 in their first match here. I hated this. I disliked it. I thought there was no good build-up. There was commercial breaks constantly throughout the match. The Wyatt 6 don't feel as important as they were. It feels like WWE has kind of soft given up on them being a big-time thing to me. I didn't like this at all. I'm going to drop it.
Yeah, the Paul Ellering stuff, reminiscent of, what is that, WrestleMania 9 or whatever? Mr. Fuji.
Yeah, Fuji.
Yeah, blinds him. But, you know, I found myself at least being really excited pre-match for this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, found out about it last week, and I was like, cool, this will be good. As Wyatt 6 made their entrance, I kind of just was like, I don't feel that same excitement level. Something dropped off for me. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I didn't have that same excitement feel like, ooh, this is, you know, we talked about like, you need to kind of save it because like making it feel special, but it just didn't feel special to me. The match itself, like you said, a lot of commercial breaks. The little bit that we did get to see, I thought was sloppy. I didn't even think it was that good in-ring stuff either. Paul Ellering returning to attack Howdy, like to even the odds, I guess. Like, okay. You know, Final Testament and AOP get the win here. I'm assuming Howdy's going to come back and maybe try to take out AOP. I don't know. But either way, like the 1, 2, 3 hit, and as excited as I am for Kross to get a win here, I feel like they really kind of put themselves in a corner having this match so soon because the buildup has kind of been there. But at the same time, like you have it to where it's like Final Testament really needs a win here. Kross really needs a win, especially, well, Howdy and them, this is what, their second match together? Yeah. So it's like you're in a corner, Howdy takes the pin, and it's Howdy of all people. But,
yeah.
I'm dropping it. Like I come out of this match not excited to see what's next.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from this is like you've taken so long since we've seen them that we no longer really know anything about anybody other than Howdy. We thought you were going to build them up more. You didn't. We haven't seen them in months. They come out. It's kind of just gimmicky things here, spots for them, and they kind of just clear themselves out. And then it's Uncle Howdy, who's supposed to be like this mystical being of, you know, we still don't know how powerful he is. Well, you throw some powder into his face and you hit him with a finishing move, and that's that. And it just feels like, okay, so he's not that strong. Why are we so scared of him? I feel like it takes away big time. If they were going to get the win here, pin somebody else, like anybody else. Pin Gacy, pin Loomis, like any of the other ones. Yeah. Leave Howdy out of the pin. Are you kidding me? Because I don't care that there was interference. This still makes him look weak. And I'm kind of with you. I was looking forward to this feud, and I feel like we've been very positive in pushing the feud. But as a first go around here, I really think this is a big misstep. I don't really care what comes next, which is kind of how I felt about a lot of Karrion Kross stuff. So that sucks.
Yeah, I think it's weird because of the Kross side of things. Like I said, he needed a win, but like he gets the win here. But the way they did it to pin Howdy, like, I mean, technically the leader of the Final Testament gets the win over the leader there.
But Karrion Kross didn't do any big damage throughout the match anyways. It wasn't like Karrion Kross shined. He was in the match for 90 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, he got the pin, and you can say he got the pin, and you know, leader over leader. But like, yeah, I don't care.
His stock didn't go up at all from anything that happened in the match. So
I don't think, like I said, I'm not excited to see what's next. And I would say that going into this match, like you said, we were pretty positive. Nobody came out at the end of this looking better than when they went in. Everybody looks worse.
Yep. Completely agree. We get a Punk interview, sit down interview. They asked him about the favor, and obviously he said, nah, I'm going to keep that between me and Paul. So that was that. But then they talk about him and Seth, and he goes, you know what? If Seth wants to fight, I'm not really going to shy away from it. I don't want to fight. I'm kind of confused why he hates me. That's what he said. And he goes, I don't hate Seth. In fact, I helped him when he was 16 years old. He wanted me to train him, and I trained him for free. without asking anything in return. And he said, I even shielded him from being fired. There was a time when he was on the top 10 list to be cut, and I shielded him from that. He's a talented dude. Everything he's done, though, I've done better. In my absence, he filled the spot. But now the starter is back. Time to go sit back on the bench. And that was that. Quick, effective. I like Punk. Cuts it deep. I'll pop it.
Yeah, short, quick. I'm going to pop it. I don't know. Maybe it would have hit a little bit better with what came before it, like the Howdy stuff. If that had been good,
yeah,
maybe I would have been more excited and taken more out of it. But it was just like okay, cool.
Yeah, basically. We then get a Liv Morgan tune-up match, is what she called it, and she's taking on Dakota Kai. Mm-hmm. Liv Morgan versus Dakota Kai. Hell yeah. That's what you think.
And you talk about it on paper, you're like, hell yeah. Dakota just got her, opening match win?
So a little bit of the story that is going before this was over the weekend, Sonya Deville kind of called out Dakota Kai on Twitter video. She's mad that she wasn't a part of this Intercontinental title tournament, and she talked about how Kai should not be a part of it. She's been hurt so often, and Sonya deserved it. So you knew something was going to happen here with the PFC. And Dakota Kai would start hot, though, and she was beating the hell out of Liv until she would rush Liv in the corner, and Liv would pick her up and throw her over the corner to the outside. Commercial break. We get back from commercial break, and Liv is getting the advantage, but it was for less than 60 seconds, and then PFC comes out. All of PFC. The PFC. And at this point, Liv is I don't really have any problem with PFC. So she's shimmying, doing her Dom stuff. She's trying to hit the Three Amigos, but of course, Dakota Kai would reverse the last one because nobody can get the Three Amigos anymore. And that would lead to a Dakota Kai kind of comeback here. She'd kind of dominate the champion during this point. Stomps, her patented rope stomp that she does. She did a corner split leg drop kick in the corner. She was doing a bunch of stuff, and then she realized PFC was out there, and she went and attacked them right away. She kicked Zoe Stark. She kicked Baszler off, and that led time for Liv to come over and give her a code breaker. And so Liv gets a little bit of advantage here, but we would eventually get a Dakota Kai comeback once again. And when that happens, Sonya would distract her, and that distraction would lead right into an oblivion from Liv. Boom. 1, 2, 3, Liv wins it. Sonya Deville attacks afterward. Damage Control then comes out. So Io and Kairi Sane come out. Io would hit a double missile drop kick off the ropes to Baszler and Stark, which was awesome. And they would all roll out of the ring. And that's when Kairi Sane would hop up to the top rope, and she'd do a top rope cross body. She almost overshot it again. That woman, she's insane.
Yeah, you need to have her not be by the announce table.
She gets too excited
up
there, man.
Don't dive that way. Dive the other way.
But then while that's happening, because Io's kind of just watching it happen, Liv would sneak up behind her, hit the Oblivion on her, and that was kind of that. Liv would stand tall over Io here. The match between Dakota Kai and Liv Morgan, I would say, is disappointing to say the least. I really want to be positive because it's we got Dakota Kai versus Liv Morgan, but this match was a story of Liv didn't look strong, and it's okay, well, if Liv's not going to look strong here, when is our champion ever going to look strong? Please give us some strong stuff here. You have the PFC stuff, which isn't really based in, yeah, the PFC stuff is PFC stuff, and now we're leading to maybe Dakota Kai getting screwed over in the tournament. I'm just going to go ahead and drop it. There wasn't enough positive stuff here. And a lot of commercial breaks. Once again, it was quick. Just not enough stuff here. Not enough meat.
Yeah, I'm dropping this. I don't think it's as... Ooh. I'm not going to sit here and be it's close. It's not close for me.
It's Liv and Dakota Kai. That sounds like it's just a positive thing.
Sounds like it, but once the bell rang and we were like... and I wouldn't say it's their fault, admittedly. Dakota got some offense in. Yeah, that's cool. I would have liked to see Liv get the win here, a tune-up match without PFC kind of interfering. If anything, maybe PFC could have just run in after.
Yeah.
Come out to the ring after the match, and I feel like nothing would have really changed.
But that's my point. Not even in this not even a tune-up match can our champion get a win.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah, she gets the win, but it's not by herself, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't look strong. She didn't dominate.
Dakota Kai loses nothing here if they have a good match and she loses. She loses to the champion.
Right. And then you could have PFC interfere after. That's the PFC stuff is, like you said, it's PFC stuff. I was really excited for Dakota Kai in this tournament, and we put out that video, and she was my pick to kind of make it to the finals on that side of the bracket. Same with you as well. Doesn't really seem like that's probably going to be the case with how they're booking this.
Yeah, PFC may screw her.
And I guess my thoughts would be PFC has been terrible, to say the least. That's probably putting it too nicely. Why now? You know what I mean? Like, why does she have to, why? Like, you could have just not done that, I guess. I don't know.
It sounds, it's hard to talk about because PFC has done nothing, and it feels like they're just kind of forcing them into places that they shouldn't be. And we say it every single time we talk about them. We were very positive on them when they started. It's not working out. Stop shoving them down our throat. It's like these are three very talented women. Put them in the shadows for a bit, break them up, and try to repackage them around Rumble time and do something fun with them. Or just you can reboot PFC down there after it's been a while of being out of sight, out of mind, and maybe you can get some fire right there. But like, if they end up costing Dakota Kai, that's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel like good storytelling either. It's going to feel more like a punch in the mouth. Like it's like no one will like that. Don't do that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah,
I'm really afraid of, because Zoe Stark has her match, I assume probably next week.
Yeah,
if things go the way that they've been going. But God, you don't need that.
No,
there's no reason for it.
We would get a Drew McIntyre promo, and he talks about how Hell in a Cell left him bloodied, and he was ready to go home to Scotland. He's ready to go home to Scotland to be with his family. The family needed him. That's why he's been gone. He said 2024 was stolen from him. It was supposed to be his year.
You sounded like Tweety Bird there.
Tweety Bird. They didn't. What does he say? The kitty? The kitty cat. He goes, what if my gut was wrong about people changing? Because I watched Sami, Jimmy, Jay, Punk, all of them side with Roman. At least Punk had a reason to be there. He was alluding to Paul, but the rest of them went to Roman's side with the snap of a finger. He goes, that's why when I knew I had to take out Jay. I cannot change the past, but I will change the future. So it looks like Drew McIntyre is coming after Jay and anybody who helped out Roman. So he's coming for that OG bloodline group. What do we think about that?
Yeah, I'm going to pop this little promo. I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
I thought it was also nice the way that he's kind of had a new respect for Punk. They had their differences. They went to war together, and he kind of came out at the other side like, yeah, maybe he doesn't, maybe he still hates him, but he kind of respects him,
Yeah.
I thought that was important. Him continuing to say, or I guess now we know, like, I'm going after Jay, I'm going after Sami. It's interesting. I mean, we know has had his problems with the bloodline. We're kind of wondering what they were going to do with them. Excuse me, until Roman comes back. I guess sign me up for it. It's fine.
I'm under the boat that this is going to be good because the people involved are good, and so the matches will be great. But I think we're all getting a little bit too samey. Like Drew McIntyre is now the Raw's version of Kevin Owens in a way. Mm-hmm. It just feels like everybody is sort of in one way or another attached to this bloodline. And they are, right? The long-term storytelling. Bloodline has run through all these people. That's part of the bloodline, is that they've burned a lot of bridges and that hurt a lot of people's feelings. And this makes logical sense. And we always talk about logic being a big part of what we love about wrestling right now. But when it's already happening so much on SmackDown and you're trying to do it at the exact same time over here on Raw, you run into you cross paths and you're kind of parallel in your storytelling in that aspect, and that can feel a little too samey. I'm still looking forward to all this, and I'm ready to give it a chance because it's going to be great. These people are great, and I love Drew. I'm just a little bit cautious on them running the same path here, a little bit too close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Like you said, I'm going to give them the benefit of God, I can't talk today. The benefit of the doubt here, at least. It's Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre has had a fantastic year, so I'm going to support it. But at the same time, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little underwhelmed with him coming back and going into this. Like, it's not what I thought would happen, but it's also like, now that I see it on screen, I'm like, I mean, okay, I'll support you. I'll give you the hopes that this is going to be good, but I don't know what I would have thought or what I would have like wanted him to do coming off the Punk stuff. But I know this wasn't it, and so like it hasn't really kind of hit with me yet.
I trust in Drew.
Does that make sense?
Trust in Drew. Just a little thing to note here, the transfer portal thing. Adam Pearce is talking to Cody Rhodes today. He stepped out of the office.
And Tiffany
Stratton. Two of the big ones. But Kofi comes out of the office and New Day's walking past him. And he goes, I've known you guys for 20 years each. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. And then they walk away. So that was something cool, a little note in the backstage. It was really that quick. It was a passing thing. But speaking of all this stuff, Seth Rollins comes out for one hell of a day. I mean, this whole thing is whole page of the Seth Rollins stuff that we got going here. And he comes out in Wichita, Kansas, and he says, I give it up to CM Punk. When you're done in the ring for good, he will have a great political career. He'll be a politician because he can spin the truth however he wants and play the victim like he always does. He's a fraud. He says, I'll tell you the truth. Punk was right, though. I did want him to train me when I was a kid. I looked up to him. We were actually friends. So why do I hate him? Why do I hate him is what he said. He said, because the day he left, he tried to tear this company down. And what did I get in return when I tried to reach out? Nothing. If you weren't on Punk's team, he ghosted you. You were done. He teared us down for 10 years, and after that, he failed at everything. He burned every bridge, and then when it was time to come back, why did he come back? Oh, because the money was right. That is what he said. He said, I used to respect Punk, but I realized I want to be better than Punk, and I am. I've done something he's never done before. I've main evented WrestleMania. And then when he says that, Sami Zayn comes out. I was like, is he going to protect? Is he going to come out here to defend Punk again? And Seth Rollins, to that right, said that exactly. He goes, if you're out here to defend Punk again, we going to fight again. And Sami is like, look. Last week, we were both angry. I was wrong to assume that you were the one to attack Jay. So I'm sorry for that. And Seth said, thank you. But I do want to know one thing. When Jay went down, I was the first one to come to your mind. Why? And Sami said, because you were crazy last week. You were talking crazy. He goes, you were blaming everybody. You didn't sound like Seth Rollins. You sounded like Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, and we were watching this live, and he says, you sound a lot like, and he pauses. I was like, Kevin Owens. To your point, it was kind of like the same feeling. Because I even said Kevin Owens, because Kevin acknowledged or has talked about Sami on SmackDown. So I thought maybe they'd do it here.
Bingo. And Seth said, I am not Drew. And Sami said, no, of course not. You're better than him. But Punk brings out the worst in you. He goes, to be fair, I got involved when I should not have. It's a business now with you and Punk. So guess what? It's your business. I'll leave it to you. With that, when it comes to Punk and Seth Rollins, I'm out of it. And he goes, are we good? And Seth's like, yeah, actually, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm a big boy and I can handle my business by myself. Thank you very much. And he goes, yeah, we're good. And it sounds like you got business to handle yourself with Mr. Drew McIntyre. And then Seth takes off. Business is settled with him. And Sami goes, that is good advice. I do have business. But I'm not doing this the way that Drew and Punk did it for months and months of him walking out to this ring and talking. I want to do this right now. So I went to Adam Pearce already, and I made the match official for Saturday Night Main Event. It's going to be me and Drew McIntyre Saturday Night Main Event. The whole crowd's like, oh, okay, good for you. That's some logic right there. Get something done, get it done.
Yeah.
And then Sami's celebrating. He's on his way out. Drew does attack him at the stage, beats him up a little bit. Nothing too bad. Like just stomps him a couple times. But yeah, we get Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre at Saturday Night's Main Event now. I'm not going to complain about that type of free match. The Seth Rollins stuff was phenomenal. It's all based in logic, stuff that we've been saying for weeks. These promos are just great right now. This was solid. A lot of solid wrestling promo action, popping the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Sami and Seth, like they both kind of speak facts and they're all logical based, like you said. It is interesting to me that they still kind of somewhat leave the door open here with Rollins and Sami. Like they say that they're good, but it doesn't really feel like they're good. And Rollins didn't really address like, you know, Sami's like, oh, I'm sorry, I called you Drew McIntyre. You're better than that. But like Rollins doesn't fully say like, oh, that's okay. That's no big deal. Don't worry about it, bud. Like that doesn't happen. So leave the door open a little bit here. As for the Saturday Night Main Event, almost feels like a little rushed in my opinion because Drew just came back. But at the same time, like you said, I'm not going to complain. I think we all know what's going to happen. I think we all realize Drew McIntyre is going to murder that man on Saturday Night Main Event. Jey Uso was absent this week. Still not there. Still not cleared to return because of his head injury. So I assume no Saturday Night Main Event for him as well, even just an appearance. Maybe we see something on Raw.
Yeah, I think Drew wins this outright. I think he should beat the hell out of Sami Zayn and reestablish how strong Drew McIntyre is because he is awesome. But I don't think it's rushed because that's not Drew's target. I think he made it. The main name that he dropped in his promo is Jay. Mm-hmm. So I think he's coming for Jay, and that's going to be the big feud, which is going to be fantastic, by the way. That feud is going to be great. So you give us a great little match between Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre on free TV on Saturday Night Main Event. Move on to Jey Uso after that. It's going to be good.
Yeah, when I say it's rushed, I guess, like, I don't know. Typically, we see things build up for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and Sami just comes out and is like, oh, yeah, we got a match on Saturday. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I wish more people had the logic of Sami Zayn. He's like, oh, I hate that guy. Oh, wait, I work for a wrestling promotion. I could probably just go make a match. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, Sami.
It works. Gunther did it that one time with Dom. Yeah. Like, it works. So, yeah, just quick, kind of unexpected for me. It was probably the better word, not rushed. Unexpected, but sign me up.
And then the depression starts. I was so disappointed in this. I'm sorry. I was looking, ever since we saw the Intercontinental title tournament, we saw the tournament, the bracket, this match stood out to us. We were so excited for Zelina Vega taking on Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile, triple threat IC tournament.
Is it Lyra or Lyra?
I don't care.
Somebody in the comments can be like, you guys mispronounced it again.
I'm going to call her Leli.
I think it's Lyra.
All right, Lyra.
That's what I'm going to say.
Anyway, they were set to take action, and these three are great in ring, but they just had themselves a little bit of an off night tonight. You know, they just did. Immediately, Lyra and Zelina throw Ivy Nile out of the ring, and Zelina would attack Lyra, and she'd hit a 619 right away. Hit a 619 on Lyra Valkyria, but Ivy Nile was there to pull her back out. Eventually, or that led right to a commercial break because that was the whole story of the freaking night tonight. But they would come back, and Lyra was back to doing her thing, and she would do like a double outside like drop kick to both the women, which was absolutely awesome. And then she'd bring in Ivy Nile, and she'd do a tornado DDT into a fisherman suplex to her. Lyra Valkyria is freaking incredible. She is unbelievable. She's awesome. Lyra and Ivy were kind of on the ground, like trading pins, a real awkward sequence here. Like, I didn't know what the hell they were doing, but they were rolling around, and they ended up in a bridge together, and then Zelina would swanton from the second rope and take both of them out, which felt like it should have been a good spot, but like Lyra and Ivy were kind of just looking weird on the ground there for a while. It was just kind of weird. She would have hit a second rope Meteora on Lyra, so it was good stuff here. Ivy would look strong because she's a pit bull. She had a double German suplex on both the women, but the end here was just simple. Zelina would go for a roll-up pin on Ivy Nile. Lyra would just drop kick Zelina. Zelina rolled out of the ring. Lyra picked up Ivy, Nightwing, hits her finisher, 1, 2, 3. Lyra Valkyria, she wins. She moves on in the tournament, which is great. I love it. Thank God. Lyra Valkyria is on pace to win the Intercontinental tournament. Very happy for her. Right decision. All for it. A lot of people are going to say Zelina deserved it, and I'm not going to disagree there. It was great. They all deserved a better match here. My breakdown doesn't do it justice. This match it really fell off when you're watching it. It was just not that great. I'm going to go ahead and give it a pop. I like
you're popping it.
Or a drop, sorry.
Oh, see, I didn't even know.
I like the winner of the match. The match itself was not good. I'm dropping it.
Yeah, usually when we talk about like, hey, this doesn't do it justice based off our notes, go watch this, see how good this was. I would say the opposite.
Yeah.
The notes don't do this justice. This was bad.
Yeah.
Like you said, everybody was a tick off tonight. Maybe the chemistry's not there. I don't know. Maybe it was a little rushed because at this point in the night, you're looking at the time, and you're also also like, well, they should give this 20 minutes, and they didn't, which thankfully they didn't because it was bad. But at the same time, maybe they could have.
Oh yeah, they needed more time.
Maybe
they were trying to get spots in. They were rushing, and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Valkyria gets the win here. Good for her. Happy for her. She moves on. Yeah, that's pretty much all there needs to be said.
Dropping it?
Yeah, I have to drop this. Especially like. I talked a little bit about like Survivor Series. Like we get our hopes up, we get our expectations up, and we both thought this was match of the night potential.
Yeah.
When we saw this, and I think a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would agree.
Dude.
Match of the night contender. Just a little bit off. Steam got taken out with the commercial break and never really recovered.
Yeah.
Never really was anything like impressive.
No.
Just a match.
They're just off. But we followed up with something great. New Day. We're backstage, and Kathy Kelly's interviewing him, and she's like, "Why'd you guys treat Big E like that? That was mean." And Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are like, "You sound pretty biased. I don't like that. So we're going to go to the ring ourselves." And Xavier Woods looks at the cameraman. He's like, "Give me the camera." And
he says, quote, I don't care that you're John Cena's friend. Give me the camera.
He steals the camera from Stu.
How dare you?
Xavier Woods rips the camera from Stu, and he's following Kofi Kingston to the ring with the camera. There's like a mirror and gorilla, and he turns and he looks, and you can see him carrying it.
Yeah, he wants to show that I'm carrying his camera.
Yeah, they walk to the ring. Crowd is now chanting, "New Day sucks. New Day sucks." They get to the ring, and Xavier Woods puts the camera down on the stairs. I'm like, why'd you steal Stu's camera if you're not even going to use it? But they get in the ring. Crowd is Dom level heat. I mean, booing them out the place. Wichita is not a very lively crowd. So when they're booing that loud, we're from Kansas, all right? We get to shit on Wichita if we want. And
I think Wichita does that themselves.
I don't like Wichita.
But,
I don't like going there. But they were booing the hell out of them. And they were trying to pick up their mics, and they just couldn't talk. And Kobe was saying, "Y'all mad about one day of us doing bad to Big E when he hasn't been here for years for us?" And they're boo. And Xavier Woods is like, "We came here," and they're booing him. He puts the mic down, and they're trying to say words. And eventually Xavier Woods just yells, "We didn't do anything to E." And then Kofi follows up, and he's like, "We could have hit him with a chair. We could have hit him with a hammer. We didn't even touch him." And they're all booing. And then Woods goes, "You know what?" And they throw their mics and they leave. This was phenomenal. I mean, just go out there, let the heat draw, let it build, let the crowd just hate you and make it cool to hate you. Exactly what you want from big time heels popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it. They did a lot here without doing a lot.
Exactly.
Which was fantastic. They didn't give us any reason. They didn't say anything. They didn't continue anything. And we had somebody in our Twitch chat ask us about that. Like, "Oh, do you think that was part of it?" I think this was exactly it. Like, you guys are going to go out. You guys know you guys are going to get destroyed by the crowd. Just soak it in and leave. And that's what they did.
Yeah, they're now like the top heels on Raw.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Yeah, well, we talked about Dom getting chanted last week, and Dom has slowly started to get more cheers and not booed out of the building as much. Insert the New Day. This is now the top heel. Everybody hate them,
Yeah, I would get the tag team belts on them ASAP. Let them have a phenomenal heel tag team run, not like Judgment Day's, because Judgment Day's heel tag team run has been ass. So get them on a legitimate heel tag team. These guys, obviously, they've gotten the best out of our crowds, and now they're going to get the worst out of our crowds, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, War Raiders hopefully taking those belts off Judgment Day next week.
Yep.
And then you can just start a feud with them. They've had history in the past. They've worked against each other, so
I'm down.
Let's do it.
Then we get our main event: Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez, 1v1 in a no holds barred or just no DQ match. Anything goes match. Sorry,
which is the same thing.
Yeah, anything goes.
It's just
match.
Called differently.
Rhea Ripley could have come out with a gun and shot her. Anything goes. Sorry.
Wow.
Rhea Ripley came out without one thing. Oh yeah, that's so horrible, huh? Rhea Ripley came out without one thing: no mask. No mask.
She's not Batman.
She ate the announce table last week, but no mask or anything. She got healed. That was a little weird. But Raquel makes her entrance second, and Rhea's like, "I don't have time for this." She goes and attacks right away on the stage, and they fight in the crowd, and Rhea's throwing her against the barricades of the crowd, and they're fighting, and Rhea tells fans to move, and she sits Raquel in one of their seats and starts beating them, and the crowd's going absolutely insane there. And we get all the way back to the ring where we find that during the commercial break, because Rhea entered first and then we had a commercial, during the commercial, Rhea filled the ring with weapons. So there's like
chairs and kendos.
There's like 10 chairs and 10 kendo sticks. And so she starts beating up Raquel with the kendo stick. All hell is breaking loose. Raquel gets a little bit of offense here and there, but we go into commercial break and when we come back, Raquel does have the advantage, and we find that she like somehow busted open Rhea's arm. Like Rhea's wrist had a bit. Rhea had a big laceration on her wrist, so that was all bloody and crazy. But they set up a little chair spot where they set up a chair in the middle of the ring, and Rhea was supposed to like throw Raquel onto it to
Like face buster,
like
maybe?
face buster onto the chair, but like Raquel didn't full send it and she totally whiffed it, which felt awful. It was a big botch in the match. And then, but at least Rhea made it funny because Rhea looked at her and you could tell Rhea was so disappointed that she missed it. She was like, God, just got a chair and just smacked her as hard as she could in the back. It was like, oh, there's your receipt for you. But Rhea would eventually set up for the Riptide and Liv would come out because that's her friend. That's her bodyguard. Liv runs out. Rhea stops the Riptide, throws Liv into the ring. And when she throws Liv into the ring, Rhea walks up to Liv and Raquel comes with a high boot. When that happens, she power slams Rhea onto a stack of chairs. Things are looking good. And then eventually she picks up Rhea to try to get her into a finishing move, but Rhea reverses that, headbutts her. And she would then go for her Riptide again, but Liv would jump on her back. And so she's got a wild Liv on her back. And Rhea has to obviously throw her off, so she kicks Raquel. And when she kicks Raquel, Liv then hops back up, oblivions Rhea. A lot's happening here, I know. Io then comes out because Io has a match against Liv. She hits another missile drop kick just like she did earlier onto Liv. She hits Liv with it and then does a suicide cross body to Liv on the outside. Raquel would come out and she's pissed now. She sets up a table in the middle of the ring and would set up her finishing move again, but Rhea just refuses to get in that finishing move. She reverses it, puts a Riptide through the table on Raquel. 1, 2, 3. Rhea wins it. But something to foresee here, a little bit of foreshadowing at the end of the match. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky both hold up the title at the same time, and they're looking at each other like, wait a second, it's supposed to be my thing. So maybe we do get a little bit of a title change here. Maybe Liv does drop it. Maybe we get a little bit of an Io versus Rhea feud. Who knows, huh? Anyway, in terms of the match, though, yeah. I when I saw it on paper, Rhea and Raquel, it doesn't scream main event to me. Like Raquel has some trouble in the ring, but I thought that the way they did the Anything Goes match made this match really fun. I had a lot of fun during it. This was a lot of furniture break-in and fun stuff. I'm gonna pop it.
Yeah, I'm dropping this. I thought this match sucked.
Oh my God.
I thought it was awful. Sucked. Not Rhea's fault. We always talk about Rhea getting overbooked and, shoved down everybody's throats. And why do we need that? And My main takeaway from this match is Raquel Rodriguez is horrible in the ring.
Yeah, she's not good.
She didn't take the face buster. The Riptide through the table was not good.
She barely got up.
She didn't look great in her offense either.
Yeah.
You can tell she's really kind of struggling to find her legs back ever since she's come back. This didn't do her any favors.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be like the enforcer for Liv, and she's not enforcing.
This is why I pop it, though, because I agree with you. Raquel is not good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have put her in this position. She's not ready to be in this position. So if you're going to put her in this position, do this, where it's some gimmicky weapons everywhere, fight in the crowd, let Rhea beat the hell out of her. Like that works for me.
Yeah. And I don't disagree. Like if you want to pop it, that's fine. For me, that couldn't even save it. I still was just like, Jesus, this is god awful. Like you said, shouldn't have main evented. Maybe it was commercial breaks. I don't know. Maybe I was just ready for the night to be over. I do find myself the Io Sky and the Rhea Ripley thing at the end. As much as we've kind of thought that Liv's going to keep that title until Mania and she's going to drop it to Rhea, at this point, I just kind of want to pivot to Rhea and Io. I don't know if it's the Raquel and the Liv thing and the Rhea, just every week. We've been kind of getting the same stuff for a few months.
Yes.
Whether it's, like I said, Liv and Raquel or Rhea or Io has been a nice kind of new face here again, coming back into the main title scene. I kind of just want that to happen because I need a break. Yeah, I need a break from Liv and Rhea and Raquel and whatever they're doing right now. At one point, I think it was really good. It's been drug out so long for me that I'm like, I need the break.
I completely agree with you. I do think I think it would be better to pivot now. I think Jesus Christ, I can't talk. I think we should pivot now because I think the Liv stock has really fallen off in terms of her title. Her relevancy as a title holder is just gone. Like she couldn't even get the Dakota Kai match by herself without anything happening. There's just no reason for me at this point to believe that Liv is a great champion. They're also not doing as much Liv Dom stuff, which is making me not like Liv as much anymore. Like, that is what was really getting me. Their interaction was making them a fun on-screen presence. Now it's just Liv, and it's Liv and Raquel. Raquel doesn't get me. Like, to me, I as much as we talk about how Rhea has been a little bit overbooked or a little bit too strong, she's definitely more interesting than Liv. She's definitely a little bit more talented, and she's way more over. And so if you want to pivot and you want Rhea to somehow cost Liv, and then we get a little bit of a Io thing going, I'm totally down with Rhea versus Io. That would be phenomenal matches. It'd be something new, and they'd put on shows. I mean, we know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main takeaway. Like, you could have like a gentlewoman's feud where it's like, hey, I respect you, you're the best. I think you're the best. This is going to be fantastic. And they just go out and have great matches. It would at least give me a break from Liv coming out, every week. She's not really doing anything.
Yeah.
To what you said about the Dom stuff. Dom's kind of wrapped up in the weird like Finn stuff, but at the same time, they don't do enough with him there either.
Yeah.
So they're not doing enough with him. They're not doing enough with Liv. Raquel, you should have just not brought her back.
Yeah, no.
At this point.
Yeah, I agree.
We talked about the Judgment Day needing to break up, but we've talked about it for a while. It seems now more than ever like you got to do it because, just have them go away. Like, just have Liv lose. You can have them go away. You can have them return at the end of January for like the Rumble. I know they won't do that. That's just not what they're going to do. But it's like, God, this is really wearing on me, and it really takes out the fun from the main title. At least.
Yeah, I'm fatigued of the Rhea Liv stuff, and at this point, I think I'd be more interested in just giving Rhea the belt back by any means possible. And if that's through a nice little feud with Io instead of Liv, that would be new to me, and I'd be down. So, anyway, a little bit more downs this week, a little bit more drops. We had 7 drops, but we ended up having 11 pops. So we are going to pop this episode of Raw overall. But should you go watch it? Probably not.
I don't think that. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't think that's right. I don't think this guy knows how to count. This episode of Raw was a drop. I know we said it weeks ago, probably. There was another bad episode.
Oh, so you're just overriding it? You're just going to say drop?
Executive decision.
You know what? Executive decision.
Yeah.
I can't argue it. It's a drop for the week. But the watch along, the live stream was fantastic. So thank you guys for being there. So thank you.
If there was no watch along, I think this number would be.
Oh, if there's no watch along, it'd be worse.
Drop.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, if you want to come watch us, it is on Twitch, twitch.com/CODWrestlePod, at CODWrestlePod on all of our socials, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. If you want to come talk to us, we have a link tree in our bio that has all of our socials. Discord, we have a Discord. Come talk to us there. Our live streams, comment all of our stuff. We love talking to you guys. But until next time, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.